Well, today I want to discuss the epic defeat for America. On yesterday, at the stroke of midnight in the Afghanistan time, the Major General was the last soldier to leave the bolted down, empty Kabul Air Base in Kabul, Afghanistan, and boarded a C-17, and everybody was gone. All the staff, all the military, all the help, all the workers, everybody. Wow. There was left, according to General Kirby and also to Secretary of State Blinken, some 100 to 200 or so Americans who do want to get out were left behind. That's scandalous. That is absolutely scandalous. And I don't know if American fighting forces can ever say in the future, no man ever left behind. Up until Afghanistan and the likes of the weaker than sugar water, Joe Biden, my time Biden, America could boast from the War of 1812 to the Concord Battle of 1776. America could boast no one, no soldier ever left behind. Even there was sometimes nothing but their ravaged bodies. But now, on the sugar water week, Joe Biden, my time Biden, it is now imminent, and we are now precluded from ever saying as America, one of the world's greatest fighting forces, no one left behind, because we left nearly 200 Americans behind, and God only knows how many Afghan assistants and contractors and people that worked with the Americans during the 20-year war that were also left behind. But it was a decision that was made by Joe Biden, my time. It was suggested to him by the big dummy, the Defense Secretary of Defense, Lord Austin. And so we are now at perhaps the weakest world influence that we have ever endured under these two men, Secretary of Defense, Big Dummy, the Lord Austin, and Sugar Water, Biden, my time, Joe Biden. And America will never be put together. This Humpty Dumpty, we left people in Afghanistan who most assuredly, many of them are going to die. That's another event I'd like to report that America, Biden and his crowd boasted about. They took out a couple after the event on Thursday at the Kabul airport that they were, and 13 service people were killed, along with 170 Afghan people waiting to get on board C-17s to get out of there. They were killed while waiting in line. The Biden administration boasts about how on Saturday they took out some sort of a vehicle with two of the ISIS-K leaders in it. Now, we don't know they were ISIS-K leaders, and I'm not saying that they're not. But in the way, anything I'm saying, it does not mean that I'm un-American. I love America. I love America more than you, so shut up. But listen, with those drones that allegedly took out two ISIS-K leaders, killed collaterally 10 civilians, 10 Afghan, a family of 10 was killed, along with a 2-year-old baby that was killed by those rockets. They were just there. And so America allegedly killed two ISIS, but to kill those two, they had to kill a family of 10, a mother, father, and children, and a 2-year-old baby were killed by America, and we don't even know if the people that they alleged to have killed were actually ISIS-K fighters. We don't even know. And they said there was a secondary explosion as well because they were riding in a vehicle that carried other explosives. That is not panned out either. This is a shame. It's a shame. It's a shame and a scandalous, as they would say in North Carolina. I just never thought America could ever be this weak. I mean, what is it with Joe Biden? Well, I know what it is, that they're covering up for Obama. But come on, can't they do it a better way than this? America is now the laughing stock. Kim Jong-un is probably having a turkey leg and laughing his rear end off. America left people behind. They turned tail and ran while American citizens who want to get out couldn't get to the airport, couldn't get past Taliban checkpoints. And they said that, they're saying at the State Department it's only, a little bit more than 100. Well, we're now wise enough to recognize they probably been lying to us about that. But they left. And they left Americans behind who very well may be killed by the Taliban or by the ISIS-K. This is not the America I thought I knew. This is not the America I thought we were. I thought we fought to the death. I thought we were the Iwo Jima Americans. I thought we were the Americans that came home on VE Day. I thought we were, I just never dreamed that America would seem so weak and would make such unbelievable decisions to leave Americans behind. And it isn't like we were fighting the Nazi panzers or the Luftwaffe, or the Russian forces or Japan's Imperial Army, the Emperor. We weren't fighting the Hurry-Curry. We weren't fighting that. We were fighting a ragtag group of men calling themselves the Taliban, no more than 75,000 of them, who did not have one airplane that belonged to them, not one helicopter that the Taliban had, not any major fighting devices. These were just a little ragtag group of people with no tanks, no air force, no major military satellite, if you will, strategies. None of that. They didn't have. The Taliban didn't have any of these implements of war. All they had was a couple of AR-15s or Kalashnikovs, 47s, and that's it. And they whooped the hell out of America, who has daisy cutters. America has a 2,000-pound bomb that it drops that just explodes and explodes and explodes. America got MiGs, not MiGs, but they got F-14s, and they've got helicopters and drones. The Taliban had none of this, yet they kicked America's butt. That is one thing. And then America turned tail and ran and left Americans on the battlefield to die. Joe Biden. I would say impeach Joe Biden. I think I said that too quick, because here's my fear. No, he should never be the president. Nobody should ever call that man president, because he ain't. He ain't present, nor is he president. But the reason why I said don't impeach him is because if you impeach him, guess who's going to be president? Camelback ain't Black Harrison. You don't want that. It gets worse as it goes down the pecking order. So you don't want to, you don't want to promote. But Lord have mercy. Did you ever see anything like this? Did you ever dream that America would be? We are less credible now around the world than anybody. I think than Boy Scouts got more credibility than America does. And what is the reason why? Well, I know the reason why Biden is weak. I understand that. First of all, he is weak, and he's just not a strong individual. He's got no backbone. He's got no strength. He's, I'm not saying that the war should not have ended. When I'm simply saying there's a way to end it. You don't end it with unconditional surrender, get your butt kicked, and you leave Americans on the battlefield. You don't do that. It's embarrassing what he's done. And the question needs to be raised by the Gold Star families. Did their children, did their loved ones give their lives in vain? It needs to be the question. They keep touting, well, there's been no attack, jihadist type terrorist attack on American soil since 9/11 because America was in Afghanistan. Well, logically, I told you I was a student of logic. I'll be very careful about saying that. And the reason why I'd be careful about saying that, because if you say the reason why there's been no attack on American soil, because America was in Afghanistan for the past 20 years, now that you're gone, logically, should we expect? Did you prepare the way for attacks to take place? Is the door now open? Because if 20 years of staying there kept Americans safe, in their boudoirs, right? If 20 years kept Americans safe in Georgetown or in Beverly Hills or out on the Hamptons, right? The Americans are safe. On Palm Beach, right? If Americans are safe, we're safe because of 20 years of America being in Afghanistan. Now that America's not there, is America no longer safe? You damn right. Yes. Absolutely. Yes. So that question answers itself. But going back to the Gold Star families and people lost limbs and lost legs and they're amputees and their post-traumatic syndrome, depression and all that running around. And, a lot of the military veterans are prognosticating that people fought in that war now see the way Joe Biden turned tail and ran like a yellow dog, that they're going to suffer themselves from post-traumatic syndrome because they're going to wonder, did I go there and lose my limb, lost my leg, lost my eye, lost my wife and my children, lost my everything for naught? For them to just turn around and run like that? We're in a very difficult time. I have to tell you one other thing. You probably don't want to hear this. You probably were interested in all the other things I said, as they were quite cogent and also stitched together in the appropriate way. There's the other thing that you're probably not going to hear. Let me tell you what it is. What we need to hear as all of this is unfolding is this, is that we are in the Jesus prophesied tribulation. That is to say, we're only going to see times and things get worse. And one of the mainstays of the tribulation that Jesus spoke in Matthew's Gospel, chapter 24, is that there shall be wars and shall be rumors of wars. I wonder if we can now say also, there shall be wars and there shall be wars that America runs away from. Running away from war is what America is now best known for. Me, of course. I'm James David Manning. I'm the Lord's servant. I want to ask you to come up close for just 1 second. And I want to talk to 3-year and older veterans of the Trust in the Lord Hour, the Open Rewards Prayer Meeting, the Manning Report, and the Pulpit of Power, those 4 ministries that we do every week, producing at least 20 different ministries or sermons every week. If you are a 3-year or older veteran, by old I mean 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 10 years, 12 years, older veteran of any of these ministries that we do on a daily basis every week, and you are not a supporter, you've not joined with the ministry to give to pledge your support and your alignment with what we've been teaching. My question is why? You've had 3 years to observe us. You've had 3 years to listen to us on a daily basis, all weekend, all day long, any hour of the day. We're broadcasting. You've had 3 years to watch our various successes. You've 3 years to watch our ups and downs. You've had 3 years to listen to the tenor or the consistency of what we have said, whether we are consistent or whether we're all over the chart in what we do and what we believe. You've had 3 years to watch people around us who have made the commitment to join with our ministry in church and to financially support it. And by the way, I want to give another shout out to Brother Jesse Munoz out there in San Bernardino, along with Goldfinger, who is just extraordinary giver, and others that do extraordinary giving to our ministry. My question is to you, if you are a 3-year veteran or older, why haven't you joined? Why haven't you committed? And I suppose some of the reasons would say, well, Pastor Man, I belong to another church. And why? How could you, after 3 years of hearing me teach about the Sabbath, about righteousness, about the tribulation, and listen to me faithfully as you do, and still go sit up in another pastor's face? How could you be? It's like a woman sleeping with 2 men. One she likes during the week and the other she likes on the weekend. It's hypocritical. How could you do that? I mean, essentially, you started 3 months ago. I can understand. Well, it may take you some time to evaluate. It may take you some time to look at me, to discover, who I am. You say, well, Pastor, that's not that I don't belong to another church or ministry. I'm with you. But there's some things you say I like, and there's some things you say I don't like. Why? Why is it that you've made a decision that there's some things that you don't like are stronger than the things that you do like? I am not a psychiatrist, but I am an analyst. And I have to tell you, I analyze the world, understanding. The understanding and wisdom tells me this, that if there are things that a person such as myself that I am saying, there is no room to disagree with what I am saying, unless your purpose is to find something to disagree with. Let's say, for instance, you say, well, I like the fact that you talk about Obama, but I don't like the fact that you talk about Trump. Let's say, for instance, you're one of those, right? Well, the purpose, it isn't that you just like what I say about Obama, but don't like what I say about Trump. What it is that you are looking for a reason to support Trump. It isn't that you don't like it. It's just that you don't like the fact that I'm saying something about him. It isn't that what I'm saying is wrong. Let me put it that way. It isn't what I'm saying is wrong or indifferent. You know it's right. But you've lived your life, or you've come up, or you've been raised with a doctrine that you can really live in a false reality. That's where you are. You've been raised in a doctrine that you can live in a false reality. That is to say, you can like the truth about Obama, but you don't like the truth about Trump. And it's the same truth. It's the same truth. There's no difference. But because you have been indoctrinated to live in a false reality, you are really a person who needs psychological debriefing. But trust me, there are zillions of people around the world who live that way. There are people who know what I'm saying about Trump or Obama is right. They know it. But they choose to ignore it based on the fact that they find a reality that isn't true, and they've settled in there. Say, well, that's one of the reasons why I've not made a commitment, because, I don't like the fact, I wish you would support what I support. But the truth of the matter is, then why do you come? You've given 3 years or more of your life to listen to me? 3 years of your life to listen to me? And you're not tired of listening to me yet? And you've given 3 years of your life, and over the past 3 years, your life has been greatly upgraded. You've learned, you've been educated, you've been enlightened. And let me say this to you. If you make the commitment, say, well, Pastor, I'm joining with you, and I'm going to support, I'm going to do the tithe and offering, I'm going to do the first fruit, I'm going to keep the Sabbath, your life is going to soar. Now listen to me very carefully, and I'm not going to leave you alone after this. Listen to me very carefully. You come as often as you come over the past 3 years because you're being helped. You're being educated. You're being enlightened, right? Right. But the thing that you like, whether you say, well, I like what you say about Obama, but I don't like what you say about Trump. You do the same thing with the Word of God, such as you like the things I say, the teachings that I say, the way I explain the Bible, the way I break it all down and make it clear. But when it comes to things like money or tithing and offering or the Sabbath, well, that is also true, but because of your false reality, because you really need a psychological debriefing, because of your false reality, you choose not to believe the tithe or the first fruit or the Sabbath. Now, it isn't that it isn't true. It's as true with all the other things I've said. But you live in a false reality where you try to ignore the truth about the tithe, and so you don't do it. But everything else I say is good to go. Everything I ever say is good to go, good enough to share with your friends. It makes you laugh. It educates you. It enlightens you. But the tithe, well, and the full commitment to the ministry, well, the first fruit offerings, well, the Sabbath, that's all true as well. But you have chosen, and you've been raised and indoctrinated to have a dual reality, which is dangerous. Jesus said this, and I'll leave you. He said, I would rather you be either hot or cold, but not lukewarm. You're lukewarm. You have a dual reality. He said, if you're lukewarm, I'll spit you out of my mouth. I would rather you be completely stomped down against Pastor Manning, trying to take him down. Be fully against him. Be against him with all of your strength. or be fully for him with all of your strength. But don't be in the middle, somewhere lukewarm. You're better than to be spit out of the mouth of Jesus if you're lukewarm. So what's it going to be? You're going to make the commitment and grow and be even better blessed, or you're going to continue to walk in the lukewarm spit of the mouth of the Savior. I'm James David Manning, everybody. I'm the Lord's servant.